the stuff that is coming, Ray, that is, I think I have to believe it's transformational. And the question is it unlike what it was in the past in terms of the level, degree of transformation, right?
I think that we can agree on the fact that the technology and AI is going to be a force and it's a tailwind. And then we also have to realize that the other 4 or 5 forces are big headwinds. And the question is the tailwind greater than the headwind in the appropriate time? And so when I think about that, we'll get into the debt problem. Okay, we're going to have an immediate, we're going to come into budget season. And we will, over the next several months, and if they don't do something, we're going to have a major debt problem. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but it's a headwind. The internal conflict is a headwind. The external geopolitical conflict is a headwind. The climate thing is a headwind. The demographic thing is a headwind. So now when I think of the miracles that I've experienced when I let's say, and you've experienced, I remember when I used to do charts, that I would literally do charts with a ruler and colored pencils.
And graph paper, sure.
And I remember when the calculator came along, and I remember when spreadsheets came along, and I remember when the computer really came along. And so when we think of digitalization and devices and so on, they were pretty amazing. Let's say over a 35-year period and so on. So when we think about, I mean, they were revolutionary, right? And connectivity instantaneously, wow. And then we live our lives. We're born, we get older, we die, we live our lives. And so then I think, okay, what force will this be, this AI revolution, as a multiple of the force that we experienced from rulers and colored pencils and going to spreadsheets and being able to do models? What factor will that force? That was one hell of a force. And when I look at the Industrial Revolution and I look at these things, now I think it's going to be a bigger revolution. Yeah. But when we actually say, okay, what is its magnitude? I'm sort of like, I don't know if it's 1.25 or 1.5, what the other one was, because then when you look back on it, it may not look big when you're in it and you imagine the future like this is. And then we have the headwinds and we have a timing issue, okay? Because that baby better come on and we better get there in time. So I think about what the 20s were like. The 20s was the most patents, the most innovation, and then we came to 29 and the Great Depression. I think of the bubbles that have been in. Quite often, they were matched also with the greatest innovations. So we cannot just simply say that these innovations will necessarily quickly and in time create such a productivity miracle that the others don't matter. Demographics and, okay, there's going to be a lot of people who go from working to needing, and so on, who ain't going to be productive and are going to be needing. So I don't know how that works exactly. I am impressed with it, but I don't know exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I had this conversation with Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was saying, we were having the conversation exactly that every generation feels like they're at the most extraordinary period of technological and societal growth ever. And it feels that way.